Hi, my name is Jess and this is Knitting on Sweater Avenue. I'm here in Melbourne, Australia, and although normally I film podcasts where I talk about what I have been knitting and what I'm going to be casting on and new yarn and what I finished, today I wanted to film what I knit in a year in 2023, going over all of my actually finished objects, because there are plenty of things that are like nearly finished or that I've been working on, but I thought I would just the actually finished objects. Talking about a few of my reflections, and then sort of, I don't really have goals for 2024 per se, but just like things that I'm going to take into, or things that like projects that are technically finished but I'm going to take into the new year. But yeah, so happy new year, and let me get started. So I have 4 jumpers, 3 like tops, and then I have with me 4 pairs of socks and 1 beanie, but I did knit another pair of socks and a beanie for gift knits, and I don't have those, but I'll briefly talk about them towards the end because those are my most recently finished objects. But yeah, so I'll start with the jumpers. That's the big ticket items, and I'm going to try and go in order. I think I can work out how to go in order within each category, but I can't remember where I finished things between categories. So I'll start with my jumpers. This is them. There's a lot less colour than I would have expected. I tend to wear quite a lot of colour, but I guess that didn't really come out into my knitting. But the first jumper, I think I even cast this on in 2023, which is, I guess I cast on all my jumpers in 2023, so I don't know what I was doing. Maybe I probably cast this on Christmas 2022, I reckon. And it is at the time I bought the pattern, the Maude tee by Petite, and then I hacked it to have stripes and long sleeves. And let me just show you. This might be my biggest win of the year, I think. So this is in Drops Cotton Merino in colours 1 and 3. So it's like the white and the beige. And I knit it using 8 balls of the white and 2 balls, I think, of the beige. And I used all of the beige. So I would definitely recommend getting 3 balls if you were looking at doing similar stripes. And I've actually made a fair few changes to the pattern. Well, kind of changes. So obviously I hacked the sleeve into a long sleeve, which for someone who I hadn't done that much knitting, the first time I did it, it was hardcore the first time, whereas I ended up making it relatively straight, not too many decreases. My stripes are 12 wide, the white ones, and 5 wide, the beige ones. And I knit it to the length I wanted, and then I blocked it and it grew. And this was the first project where I undid the bind off, and I ripped it up, and there was another whole white stripe before the ribbing, and I took it out because it was too long, and it just made me feel like it just didn't fit the way I wanted, because I think it had before I blocked it, and then it grew more than I expected when I blocked it. And I used a 2x1 ribbing on the cuff and the hem. And so then I did I think it's called Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off, which is it's not that stretchy, but I think it looks nice. And 2x1 bind offs are surprisingly hard to find, other than just knitting, just casting off your pattern. And the other main thing I've done since finishing it is I have sewed the placket closed up to about here. Just because I normally wear pretty much crew necks, and so it was just it was a very deep V, and I just preferred it to be a bit more closed. But anyway, I love this so much, I am actually knitting another one. I haven't started it yet, but I'm knitting one for one of my best friends for her birthday Christmas present. And so yeah, this was definitely a win. And this yarn, it's kind of heavy, but it's a cotton merino, so it's a very good, summer, spring, autumn fibre. And so I wear it a lot because in Melbourne, so it doesn't really get that cold. So some of my like fully merino jumpers, it feels like a bit much, but this one gets a lot of wear. And I think this might be my, like, I thought it would go well and it went better than I expected. So that's this jumper. And then the second one I finished. I think I must have cast that off and cast this straight on. And this is my Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit. It's, I haven't knit only Petite Knit patterns, but it's not far off. So I suppose that's one of my reflections. I've got a few more cast-ons at the moment that are not all Petite Knit. So I'm trying to find other designers, but I do love some of her patterns. So anyway, this is the Ingrid sweater. And this is knit in, so the mohair is the Knitting for Olive mohair, but the wool is alpaca. And my boyfriend's family own and live on a farm that has alpacas, and we spun up some of their yarn that when they shore them, shore them. They must have shored them in 2022. We spun up the yarn and then I knit it in 2023. And I have heaps more. So I'm trying to work out what I want to do with it. And I think I knit a size small, and it's pretty big. It's like, and the alpaca means that it's quite heavy, and it's very drapey, which is really nice. But it does, I don't know, sometimes it feels like there's a fine line between drapey and saggy, I think. And this one definitely toes the line. So I think I've got some intentions to knit a new sweater in the new year using some more of that alpaca yarn, because it's so warm and it's so nice. But I'm going to try holding it with, rather than the Knitting for Olive mohair, like soft silk mohair, I'm going to try knitting it with the Sandnes Garn tin silk mohair, I think, because that has some merino in the mohair, which I think might offer a little bit more structure to the knit. We'll see. But anyway, it's very comfy cozy. I think the only major change I made here is I changed the neckline, which I think quite a lot of people did. I didn't actually make any major changes. I just picked up the number of stitches it said, and then instead of doing the pattern has like the 2x2 rib and then the 1x1 rib, and I just did a 1x1 rib folded neckband and sewed it down, and then I put some elastic in the top. But yeah, it's very soft and cozy. I was also, by the way, I'm hoping to film just like some beta footage or whatever it's called of me putting these on. It is so hot today, so I might have to film it another day, but also it's summer in Australia, so I might just have to suck it up. But I'm hoping to put in a bit of footage of what these look like on. But yeah, that's my Ingrid sweater. I think it must be this one. I think the next sweater is my Monday sweater, but also by Petite Knit. This is knit in drops. I want to say it's like drops, baby merino and mohair. And I also knit a size small, and it's also by Petite Knit. And I reckon this would be my like surprise win of the year. It's like a grey sweater, and I sort of bought the yarn because I was buying some drops yarn for my mother. I'm really I'm the acquirer in this family. And I was like, oh, if I'm getting some for her, I'll just chuck in something for me. And I bought this, and it was kind of rogue, and then it sort of got halfway finished, and then I wasn't doing anything on it. And then I just smashed it out, and it's such a win. I did an uneven split hem, so, and I did like a little cross stitch at the top, which you can't see really. But it's just been such a winner. It just like, it fits exactly as I like, and it's really soft without being too warm. And it's just, yeah, it's sort of fit in my wardrobe in a way that I genuinely didn't expect, which is kind of silly because why would I knit it if I didn't expect it to fit in? But like, it definitely wasn't the jumper I was the most excited about knitting. Like I was so excited about the Ingrid sweater, super excited about the Maude T Elizabeth blouse hack. And my next one that I'll show you, I was so excited about it. But this one just like kind of came out of nowhere, and it's been an absolute winner. So I think I have another Monday sweater in my future, definitely. And it's sort of interesting, yeah. I'm like, I kind of wish I had a bit more colour of my knits, in my knits, but the ones that don't have colour I wear so much, so hard to know. And the last jumper I finished is, I'm gonna forget the name of it, sweater number 18, I think. And this is the My Favourite Things knitwear. I've knit it in the Knitting for Olive Dusty Artichoke, I think, in merino, like the normal merino and mohair. And it is a beautiful cable knit sweater, and I haven't worn it. And it's such a bummer. And I think, so I reduced the number of stitches across the board, so I think the main thing I did was I knit it with one less stitch in between. And I don't know if this is related, but I feel like the back is really, like that, it's a really deep angle, which I just think is weird. But anyway, I think the problem is the sleeves are too tight. And I do decrease, like, it goes from quite big to quite small quite quickly. So I think I've decided one of my fixes this year is I'm going to undo the sleeves and redo them. And it's going to be a real espresso depresso. So I think my plan is I will undo them. If I can undo them just up to like here, to where I clearly did a bunch of decreases, and just because I'm just going to do them way, like, I guess as the pattern intended, with little to no decreasing on the sleeves. Because yeah, the sleeve just sort of, it's a weird shape and it doesn't work. So I need to change something. I'm going to try that. So yeah, this was definitely like, I was so excited about this, and it's been a bit of a flop, which is not the designer's fault because I made major changes without really thinking about it. And I think the body works. I just need to fix the sleeves because I do really like the colour and I think it's so cute and cozy. Anyway, so that is my last sweater. Overall, I would say they're a win, and I think I've got more sweaters on my needles, and I do love knitting sweaters. Just briefly, I'm going to go quickly through the pairs of socks that I knit. So obviously the most recent pair, maybe not obviously, the most recent pair is the pair that I knit for my sister. I'll put a picture up here. They have little trees on them, so I talked about it in my most recent podcast, but it's a hack of the spruce socks, which I knit earlier this year. I finished my actual pair of the spruce socks. There's one tree there, and another one at the back. You can see that. It's kind of hard to see because it's just like a red yarn with like it's like a slip stitch pattern. So yeah, so I've knit one pair of the spruce socks, and one hacked pair, I suppose, where I just took my vanilla sock knit cast on and added a tree based on the instructions for these socks. These ones would have been, they're like a medium, they're definitely a home sock, because I knit them on DPNs that were like not the right size, and I didn't measure the size, and it was just very chaotic, and so they don't fit super well. But it's a very soft yarn, and I really like the trees. I think they're so cute. So I reckon there's more spruce inspired socks in my future. Another sock pair, my first and probably only toe up socks. They were fine. They're fine. They're just, I think they're longer than I expected them to be, and that's thrown me off a little bit. Because I sort of knit them toe up so that I could make sure that the size was like, they were both the same length, and then they just sort of yeah, turns out 50 grams knit more than I expected. And so they fit okay, but I think probably also an at-home sock because I don't wear them that much. I knit my boyfriend a pair of socks. This is in Fibresmith yarns. I've talked about the changes I made, but it's a 7x1 rib on the sock and a 2x2 cuff. And then I all of my socks I use the Crazy Sock Lady socks on 9-inch circulars, and for mine I knit just like the medium, which is a 64 stitch cast on. For my boyfriend I think I did a 64 stitch cast on, but then I did like a longer heel bit, and so then the foot is like 68 stitches or something like that, just a little bit bigger. So that one was a win. Those are good. He doesn't wear them super a lot, which is why he only has one pair, whereas I keep knitting myself socks. And then this is another Fibresmith yarns. This is just a vanilla sock on 9-inch circulars, and I've been chucking my socks through the wash, so it's like a little bit felty, but kind of fine, and I want them to be worn. And so for them to be worn, I need to be able to throw them in the wash, because although I am willing to, hand wash them sometimes, I don't have the time, and socks just like get way dirtier than sweaters. So yeah, that's just some socks on 9-inch circulars. And on these, on reflection, my sister and I have discussed and agree that we reckon that the cuff and the toe, like the white bits, need to be bigger, just for the vibes. So in my future, I reckon I'll do a few more with like alternating cuffs and stuff. Like this one, the toe's just like the alternate color, which is a bit tricky to see because it's very similar. It's like it goes to here, and it's just a bit bigger. But I have changed the way I do my toe because of these socks. Like I really like the shape of this toe, so I have been implementing it into my socks. It's not vastly different. I just knit it down to, when I'm doing my decreases, I only decrease till it's got 10 stitches. I used to decrease to 8, which is not a lot of difference, but just like makes it rounder. So those are all of my sock knitting. And then I have a few camisoles tees, and I've realised that it might be a struggle to remember the name of them. This first one is, this one. This is the 7 PM tank by Tiffknit. I'm pretty confident. And I knit this over like quite a long period of time because it's knit on, maybe it's not in, I feel like it's knit on 3mm or like smaller. It looks very small needles, but it's just like, it's so cool, I think, in that you like knit this bit this way, and I like the thing has, so it's got ribbing at the very back. Oops. Ribbing at the very back, which I knit like, which you knit normally, and then you're meant to knit side panels, but I just knit one whole panel for the rest of it. So that goes all the way around, and then and then you do like increases. So you pick up and you knit increases to have like darts. It's just so cool. I have absolutely no idea what this yarn is because I didn't write it down, but because I think I started knitting this, I want to say more than like 2 years ago, because you had to do a long tube of just like, not tube, but like a long piece that was like this big, and I got very many comments from my mother and related family members being like, oh, are you knitting for another baby? And the answer was no. I just, it just started like a very small light. But yeah, it's really cool, and it was really like, I think it's a really cool construction, even if it does take quite a long time because it's on such small needles. I'm not entirely sure about the colour. It's somewhere, it's looking like silver, it's looking greyer on camera, but it's like purple in person. I'm not a super purple person. But that was that one. And the next one I finished, I think it must be this one. And this is such a winner. oh my, oops, I just drop it. This is my Camisole number 9 by My Favourite Things Knitwear in Fibresmith yarns. I think it's their burnt terracotta colour. And although I'll admit it's like more leopard printy at the bottom than I would have liked, I kind of prefer the way the top is a bit more chaotic. I reckon this is just like, this is such a standout. This pattern is just, I get compliments almost every time I wear it. And when I'm like, oh yeah, I knit that, people who don't know how to knit are like, wow, that's so cool, like, sure, whatever. Kind of the same reaction. But people who do know how to knit are like, oh my god, how? Like, look at that neckline and the, you know, the armholes. It's so nice. And I just like, I put so much effort in, like I don't know how to show you the hem, but I did like a fold over hem that's got like, I folded over and then I hand stitched it down all the way around. And it's just such a winner. I don't know what to say. I knit a size small, and although I would probably knit a size, well, maybe one size up next time because it's a little bit tight under the arm, it's just amazing, and I love it. And I've worn it to work heaps, and my main issue is that I've gotten slightly too warm because I finished it, I want to say September probably, and it's definitely a bit warm for an Australian summer because it is a merino shirt, but I think it's going to be amazing in like spring, or no, we did spring, autumn, and then like I think winter, like at work when you have to like wear a coat on the way in, and then you can just wear this throughout the day because inherently I'm quite a warm person and my office is not that cold. And then you can just like wear this around and not be too hot and not be too cold and look very snazzy. And my work is happy for me to wear tank tops, they don't mind. Or like, I don't know, blouses. But yeah, I love it, and I am very confident that I will knit another one, even though it was like definitely kind of a slog doing the whole body like on 3mm needles. I would definitely do it again. Like, it was just such a win. It's such a good t-shirt, like, or shirt. I reckon this has got to be my outstanding winner for the year, just like of all items. I love my sweaters, but this is just phenomenal. And my last little tank is my double crossed top by Charissa Lam. It's this one. It doesn't hang on my hands very well. So maybe upside down is better. Upside down also looks kind of weird. Anyway, when I wear it, it does like a cool cross thing at the back, and I am a big fan. And this is in Erica Knight's studio linen, and so it's definitely, this is like probably the most summer appropriate fibre I've used, and it's so nice. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this one. I mean, I'm a big fan of pretty much all of them, so once I've been knitting it, I'm like, even if there's something wrong with it, I'm like, I love it. I think, yeah, that's all so that's my sweaters, my socks, and my tops. And then last but not least, I've knit 2 Oslo hats this year. Last year, I guess. This is my one. And this is in the colour Exterminate from Bombed Yarns, which is in Tassie in Australia. And I knit a medium. I'm just going to put it on my head, even though it's too hot for beanies. I knit a medium, and I really like it. It does have quite a deep brim, but it's very comfy cozy. And then I also knit my dad a medium, but I made the brim part 1 centimeter shorter, so I you like knit a length and then fold it, so I knit it 2 centimeters shorter than this one, and then I knit the actual hat part 1 centimeter shorter. So he can still like change the amount of fold so that it fits him well. And I knit that one out of hedgehog fibers DK, and for Dad I did the color matchstick, I think. Anyway, so that's my little Oslo hat, and I'm a big fan. Yeah, wow, I just say I'm a fan of everything. I'm not wrong, I am a fan of it all, but that's my Oslo hat. So those are all, that's everything I knit in 2023. And like, part of me is like, that's so much. And another part of me is watched a few other videos and been like, wow, other people knit so much more. But that's okay. Among other things, if I added 4 jumpers to my like my wardrobe every year, that would be too many for me. I don't have the space. So, 3 winners and 1 that I have to knit again, like parts of it again, I'm okay with that. And like a couple of tops and a beanie, and I didn't really have a beanie, so I'm very happy with everything that I've knit. But yeah, I suppose I don't have any major reflections, or like, I'm not going to do anything majorly differently, but I think it's very interesting to me looking at my knits. They're pretty plain colours, or like pretty like muted colours. And I don't know if that's partly because lots of the people I watch on YouTube, and that's mostly how the content that I watch, lots of them mostly knit like beiges and plain colours, and they look really nice, and so I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that too. Whereas, I tend to wear a fair bit more. This is not a good example. This is my one like charcoal top, but we just got back from being away and I didn't have many clothes out. But I'm wearing very like cool triangle shorts. Like I normally wear lots of colour, so I guess maybe it's partly like I wear more muted stuff so I can wear like groovy pants and things. But I think my reflections are, I really like my Camisole number 9, so I should knit another one of those. And I just love knitting, so I think knitting a sweater or two for some other people definitely fits the bill of letting me spend a lot of time knitting without increasing my wardrobe so much. And I'm in the middle of I'm in the middle of one project, which is for someone else, and I've got 2 more lined up ready to go, so I'll talk about those in my next knitting podcast, I'm sure. But other than that, I don't know if I have any other reflections. I think I need to work on my summer fibers. Like, I don't have many summer appropriate garments, but then I also sew a lot, so maybe I'll sew in the summer and knit for the winter. I'm kind of okay with that too. But yeah, I hope you had a good Christmas and New Year if you celebrate, or even if you just have some time off and had a nice time. And looking forward to this year. I'm hoping to work out my posting schedule so that I can be more consistent, because I know that like makes more sense for people, and I know that I look out for other people's than when I know they come at certain times. But yeah, shaping up to be a pretty busy year, I think. So I'll see how I go. But yeah, I hope that you're having a great day, and I hope that I wish you all the best for this week and this year. And yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.